New Soup. Honestly, I feel like this game doesn't get talked about the way it deserves to. It's 10 years old, over 10 years old, like Jesus. I remember back in 2006 I was watching Madagascar and listening to Promiscuous Girl. So really, now, I think it's time we talked about this. Why don't we compare it to the likes of Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 2, Mario 3, Super Mario World? Why is this one different from the rest of them? I suppose it looks and feels different from the originals, and it was also released a whole 16 years after Super Mario World. Let that hurt a little. But still, I never hear people's praises about New Soup. Which is odd because it had high ratings across the board, and from what I understand, a lot of you younger people in the audience, you played this as one of your first Marios. I'm gonna make kind of a bold claim here. We are often talking about games from like 10 years ago, or games from our childhoods like SNES and N64, and that's cool because those were great games, but that statement has changed over time, and with the viewer base now on YouTube, games from 10 years ago and from people's childhood look like this. And that hurts. This is over 10 years old, guys. But I really do think there's a lot to talk about with games from the 2000s that we haven't yet. Like New Super Mario Bros. Seriously, it was one of Mario's first 2D adventures in a long time, and you could take it on the go. So now, let's talk about New Super Mario Bros. And ask yourselves, what exactly is fucking new about this game? Mario's back at it again in 2D. Everything's old, but now it's new. And we got count 'em, 2 screens. Still, I don't know how forward-thinking naming a game new is, and I really hope they don't make a habit out of naming things this. Unbelievable. The gameplay takes Mario back to his roots while sprinkling new things to the formula, like new items, level themes, and mechanics. And I know these days we're kind of tired of the whole Mario shtick where it's like, alright, remember this from Mario 1? Yes, we remember, we get it. But this was one of the first 2D Mario titles in a while, so they were all like, hey, remember this stuff? This is from the 80s, remember this? Oh, and this, remember you put the axe and Bowser falls into the... Jesus. Oh. We're just not gonna talk about that. He watches this guy burn to death intently. And then the music just comes on as he's dancing. This guy's skin is burning off, and they're probably panicking like, put on the music, put on the music! Jumping from all of Mario's older 2D adventures, this one sets itself apart. Vibrant and diverse colorful backgrounds, unique set pieces. It really is new Super Mario Bros. And this goes for everything, like the music. The music is so happy, it makes you bump and jump, you know, and it's got that super ragtime, I'll be a ragtime gal. Okay, maybe not that, but it's got this booping, energetic feel, that vibrant, happy energy that really makes you feel like you're playing a Mario game. Even the enemies can appreciate the finer idiosyncrasies involved in the making of this new Mario music. They do a little synchronized dance at the same time, no matter the situation. Nope. Oh, you've tricked me. How could I have fallen? Get the fuck out of here. We also have new enemies that, I know beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I do not want to behold any of this. There's this weird spike guy that throws snowballs, but ew. This Pinocchio ass that, I mean, he kind of looks like a guy from Odyssey, but still, what, who are you? Then there's this punching boo, and I mean, he kind of looks like a Pac-Man ghost. Kind of cool. And then there's this. Never appear again? Even some of the older Mario enemies kind of look weird. It must be because the DS was trying to do this 3D look, but it only has so much it can do with its graphical capabilities, so a lot of them come out derpy. I still think Dry Bones looks the weirdest in this game for some reason, because Dry Bones, they used to look like this, and now they look like this. And it's just kind of confusing. I don't know what this walk is all about, like, "Ya fam, swing me $1, G, I need some wets." As far as we can see, the game looks new, but what in the core gameplay actually added to the Super Mario Bros. Formula to make this the new Super Mario Bros. Series? Like I've been saying, it's one of the first ones in a while, and a lot of the stuff that wasn't possible on older hardware became possible in this game. For example, the older games were much more linear with their mechanics. Now in the newer games, enemies and objects have a wider breadth of movement, and it can give way to interesting level ideas and themes. And I know you know this, but this kind of became the staple of the new Super Mario Bros. Games. The level shows you a new enemy or mechanic or feature, and that's what the whole level is about. Sometimes it's a one-off, sometimes it appears later. You can take a look for yourself and see that this is what they've been doing for all the new Super Mario Bros. Games, and even up to you, where I'd argue they've kind of oversaturated it at this point. Maybe that's why we're not getting a new one, maybe, hopefully. Hopefully. No, Nintendo, don't do it. And it doesn't just stop at the levels, because Mario's a different man, too. He has a plethora of states he can be in now that are totally different from the older games. In his base moveset, he has a wall jump and a ground pound. And he also has... Of course, Mario has typical ones that he's had in older games, such as slipping on ice, sliding down hills, being launched out of a cannon, being submerged in sand, all that typical stuff. But now there's even more shit, and some that only appear in certain levels. The Starman, making him do flips and shit. Being blown by water, getting caught in a tornado, walking on cliff sides, hanging on cliff sides, getting toppled by snow. Oof? Oof? Did this motherfucker just oof me? Okay, no, you think about this. You fucking think about this. Okay, finally, and I've been putting this off, we've got some of the most exciting additions to this game, the new items. And I know there were only 3, but they were a game changer. First, the Mega Mushroom. It is a kid's wildest dreams come to life. Mario grows uncontrollably large and obliterates everything in his path. It's so satisfying. Even though it's only in like 4 levels. Anywhere else you use it, it's just... yeah. I'd also like to point out that it's now canon that Mario has a 5-foot penis. Let's move on. Then there's the Mini Mushroom, being significantly less epic, but allowing you to find secrets, jump over entire levels, and walk on water. And I mean, with the graphical capabilities on the DS, Mario looks like a deformed bacon bit. I'd also like to point out now that it is also canon that Mario has a micro penis. And we finally have this. Yeah, that's it. Other than these items not being too terribly creative, the way they're used actually deepen the gameplay in one of my favorite features. The star coins! Before in the older Mario games, you'd get through the level and you'd be like, hey, I did it. Or in some of the other games, you're like, I got all these Yoshi coins. What did I earn? Nothing. It's fucking nothing. So, okay, what's the point of these ones? What is so good about these coins? Well, they are not for nothing, okay? You can actually unlock paths to houses which give you power-ups or one-ups, and sometimes lead to a whole different area, you know? Can you do that, Yoshi? Could you possibly do that, maybe? In my opinion, it makes it fun to actually go out and collect these things. There's a sense of, okay, if I'm a new player, I could just run through the level, but if I want to be a 100%er, I gotta get all these coins, and it feels like an accomplishment. I know this is in each of the new Super Mario Bros. Games, but why fix something if it isn't broken? Also, going back to the items, they actually also play a part in collecting everything in this game. The Mini Mushroom and Blue Shell were items that allowed you to find secrets within levels, and you'd have to go through the entire level with these items in tow and find the area and get through it with these specific things. Losing it would mean you lost access to the secret. Actually, Worlds 4 and 7 can only be accessed if you have the Mini Mushroom and defeat the boss. And I mean really, fighting a boss with his Mini Mushroom, it is not easy. You have to ground pound it while jumping with the weird physics flying around at the speed of sound. Yeah, this shit's too hard. I'm gonna close my DS. And you can just go about your life, do whatever you like. They come back, Mario is always waiting. Ladies, take notes. Mario will always be a man who will wait for you no matter how long you take in Sephora. And that's new soup. Honestly, there's not too much I can say that this game changed about Mario. It did a lot of subtle things with the mechanics and nuances, and it added a lot to the levels, and it made it really feel like its own, but it did not stray away from the original formula, which I think was a good move. I will say though, one memory I have with this game is how it distorted expectations you probably have built with other Super Mario Bros. Games, and you know what I'm talking about. You get to Bowser World, and you think you're gonna get to Bowser, like, hey, I'm here! Turns out you're not there, because he's actually over there. What the fuck? So yeah, the game, it can challenge you with difficulty. That's why I can appreciate it. It's just too bad everything dies to a fireball. Bro, I didn't even move. I didn't even move. You walked into me, you know. That's your fault. The way I see it is, New Super Mario Bros. Was an introduction for a new generation of players to Mario. Of course, we'll all love the older Mario games, but this one was the perfect introduction to what Mario's all about. There's plenty to appreciate here, and that's why I believe it is a landmark title for the series. Oh yeah, the minigames! Oh, the minigames are just the icing on the cake to this game! If the game was the bed and pillows, this would be the body pillow of New Super Mario Bros. Just so comfortable and it feels so good around your body. Some of them you draw shit or fling shit, it's fun. But really, the main attraction is Luigi's Casino. Look at this fucking asshole in his fucking... Jesus, he looks good. Look at this toad ass in the background with a martini. Look at him. You gotta love him. Why don't you love him? I don't know why I have to be so heartless. He loves you. I'd spend hours facing off against Luigi, trying to best him at poker, but this guy seems to just always get a full house, always have something that's better than you. There's just no question. All right, there's no way you're gonna beat me on this. I'm gonna bet my whole life savings on this because there's no way you're gonna... Hey, an open wrap this time for the patrons. I'm sick, and it's probably not going to happen. But thank you all for continuing your patronage into 2018. Thank you all for helping me and supporting me. You've helped me make this YouTube career a little closer to reality, and it means a fucking lot. And if all of you want to help support me in the same way, Patreon's the best way to do it. Goes directly to me. Now, I need to leave extra room at the end here because I have this little bit of footage that I want to show you.
I like this one. I like this one, but this one's my absolute favorite. He's in the back and he's trying to see, but he cannot see. It's my favorite.